Okay, our next speaker, okay, so him and his brother, boy, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 10, 12 years ago now, they came to me and they said, Scott, we're starting a company. And I'm like, oh, okay, what are you doing? And they're like, so we're gonna put, the graphics up on the cloud. And I said, so what? We do that every day with we do that with Tritium. And he's like, no, this is different, you'll see. And I'm like, what am I gonna see? We already do it, And I kind of like blew him off, right? But great customer, they buy, products from us, and then one day I finally woke up and I saw it. I saw their vision, and I realized what they were doing, which is they're not just putting graphics on a cloud, they're enabling us to take our business to the next level, okay? They're moving us in a direction that will allow us to change our relationship with the people we serve and be able to serve them better with better tools, better capabilities, more reliably. There's 100 reasons why to move to the cloud, folks. These guys and what's fun now is this company, KODE Labs, they're a disruptor. I feel like the Tritium people kind of remember when they were the disruptor. Now they're like the big guy. Now these guys are the disruptor. So it's just fun to watch them come through and just kind of change the mentality of the industry. So I'm super, super happy and proud to have one of the founders of the company with us today, Mr. Edi Demaj. Eddie, could you come on up? Eddie's with KODE Labs.
All right, guys, appreciate it. Scott, thank you for the introduction, the opportunity to speak to this group, and for hosting us, and really the whole Cochrane team. I guess I got to use this clicker, right? Cool. So, Scott stated, I'm Edi Demaj. I'm one of the co-founders of KODE Labs. Super excited to speak to you guys. I'll give you a bit of background on KODE Labs. Not everybody's probably familiar with us. We haven't been around as long as Tritium or Distech and others that'll, Polimo and others that'll speak after me. But as Scott briefly touched on, when we started the company, our entire model was built and predicated on going to the cloud. And the reason why is because we just could not wrap our heads around the idea of the future is in this basement with some server, et cetera. And just to give you a slight bit more context there, I come from the real estate world. We had been in this space for a long time, as has the other, the other part of the founding team, some of which are here today. We wanted to build something that allows the industry to essentially scale without thinking about servers and racks and stacks. This was 2016, 17. Today we're talking about AI, and we'll touch on that more, but we just feel like there's these shifts in the industry where the rest of the world is catching up, and then we spend 5 years talking about how do we catch up to whatever else is happening in the other industries. So we genuinely believed when we started the company, and still continue to believe this, is that the industry is literally drowning in complexity. And what I mean by this, every day we talk to different clients, different companies, there's some new dashboard, there's some new hardware that doesn't speak to the old hardware, but yet it's manufactured by the same manufacturer. You guys go through this every single day. So it's just a continuous complexity that continues to be added, and we're supposed to be the professionals, but we ourselves are struggling to clarify this message for our clients. Imagine how they feel. So the entirety of kind of, the thesis behind KODE is that today we believe that visibility is actually not the problem. We have a ton of different systems, a ton of different softwares on any one given building, irrelevant of what vertical they're in, whether you're in retail or you're high-rise commercial or you're in data centers. The issue that we continue to have is that disconnected systems do what disconnected systems do. They just create more complexity, and they create this world of truths that live in a bunch of different places. But yet, again, we're supposed to be the professionals that know what's happening in this space, that know how to operate more efficiently. And we continue to introduce more solutions, which then makes it harder for the owners because they have to hire more people, which then impacts their net operating income, because when it's all said and done, they're asking for a return on investment. you're not getting in unless there's a return on investment. But yet we're like, buy this other thing here, spend $5,000 more here and $20,000 more there, and then have 17 dashboards and computers in your buildings to try and operate one building. But if I have 10, or if I have 100 or 150, as Ken, who just spoke earlier from COP, I think they have a couple hundred buildings, it's humanly impossible to do so. And then we have this idea of again, dashboards, more dashboards. I created a new graphic. I personally am completely fascinated by this conversation of graphics. And it may be because I haven't been in this industry as long as the rest of you guys have, but the fact that we're still fucking talking about graphics is complete insanity. It's complete insanity to me. I got a better graphic. I remember back when I was in real estate in 2000, early 2000, and then 2010, 11, 12, I had a bunch of building engineers. We managed this large portfolios, and then we'd run into an issue, and I'd literally have to go to their computer for them to look at some graphic, is it showing air moving? It was what the fuck? Just tell me, does this thing work or not? Is data moving through? So this is what really got us to want to do something different, to want to change the idea of this digital twin 3D insanity to let's use data. Let's use real data coming from the buildings in some way that is normalized and contextualized, that allows us to move forward in a way where we're not just creating software on top of software. You're not going to move this industry forward by just introducing another dashboard, another UI, another piece of software, another API, or some other thing that it's not even an open API, but it's some other complex, whatever protocol that requires another gateway here, there, and everywhere. It's can we just look at the rest of the world and try and move towards them versus create this world of complexity that we all live in? We believe that this space needs an operating system. And yes, you're going to tell me that there's been some, and there are some. Some are here today, and I would agree. But they're still trying to figure out how to go to the cloud, guys. We're still trying to figure out how to go to the cloud. While, I'll show you here shortly, there are a ton of companies that are done with that conversation. They're not having that conversation anymore. They are talking about how do we get rid of this old model and move to a new model that allows us to scale. Because this idea of truck rolls and a gazillion alarms and a building that has 20 floors, each different floor is literally tagged differently. And now the new person comes in and they have no clue what the hell is going on because there's the way one floor was done is completely different. Imagine an entire portfolio. It's complex, it's expensive. You guys have businesses to run. You have to generate revenue, right? Because time is money. And it's just more complexity on top of more complexity, which gets more expensive, which makes it super hard for you and us and all of us in this space to really drive our businesses forward in a way that allows us to increase margin, not have to hire a gazillion people unless our business is truly exploding, and really have this idea or implement this idea of continuous monitoring and AI-assisted workflows, which are humanly impossible unless you get rid of this idea that every single floor looks and feels different than the next floor. The idea of projects. And I know a lot of you guys in this room do a ton of projects. We're super thankful for it. You guys know the space. You guys understand the space better than anybody else, including the owners themselves. But it's also changing from this projects to more of an operational services world. It's not, we believe at KODE that in the next few years, we're not going to get RFPs that only ask you to install. Just think about the sequence of what happens today. You install, somebody commissions, then somebody else comes in and operates after. That has nothing to do in a lot of, in a large percentage of time with what was actually done during construction and during, replacement and whatnot. We think that companies in our space will have to move to this operational services model because that is going to be the model that the owners are going to require. You guys are literally the intelligent backbone of this industry. Like, just let that sink for a second. You're literally the companies that are installing the backbone of the built environment that operates the entirety of everything we use to live, work, play in. We have to think about flipping this model on its head. And we have to think about demanding from Code Labs and everybody else that we compete or not compete with a model that allows you guys to scale and run this business better. Because without that, we're not going to have the stack that AI requires to truly, truly take full advantage of AI in a way that the rest of the world and other industries are taking advantage of it. This idea of some chatbot, this, that, and the other, guys, it's craziness. Like, anybody, my 8-year-old, literally my 8-year-old, could plug an API in now into any one thing and turn some chatbot on that you could chat with. Like, we know that. But we have to build the architecture, the underlying architecture together and agree to some standard that allows us to take this to a level that the rest of the world is already at. Moving cars are moving autonomously around streets and roads and people and schools and you name it, rain and snow. Standing buildings? Not really. We've been talking about it forever. It's not happening. We've been having this conversation for as long as I've been in real estate, 20 plus years. It's not moving at a pace that we believe needs to move, which is why we at Code Labs created the company and the platform that is a true open operating system that allows you to build this when you go into a building. The foundation that you need to stay with the portfolio. Because we think that the future is actually one building engineer managing a lot of buildings. When we said that we think that the entire built environment is going to the cloud in 2016, 17, and we were talking to the industry and investors because we were considering, do we raise some money? Do we just do all of this ourselves? You couldn't have that conversation. Because the investors would go to the industry and the industry would say, no operator is ever going to allow their HVAC to go to the cloud. And we're like, how the hell does this make sense? Like, my social security, my healthcare, my check, my banking is all in the cloud, but you're telling me that some BMS is not going to go to the cloud. Like, it makes no sense. And when we talked then about the entire built environment going to the cloud, it was like crazy. And now we're sitting here saying that the entire industry is going to move to a place where one person will be managing multiple buildings. And the reason why is because we're going to build real AI agents. Not chatbots, but actual agents that work in the background and do all of the mundane, repetitive tasks and allow humanity to multiply in handling critical issues, not doing the same old trick. The rest of the built environment and the world and clients we're working with, and these are just few of 100 plus, these guys, they are they are at this place I'm talking about. And what does that mean for this room, for the rest of our industry? It means that you're not going to get work from them unless you can step up and go with them to where they're trying to go. Like, it's not going to happen. Absent that, okay, like, I believe that we're at this pivotal moment, and I know we've been saying this forever, but I genuinely believe with AI specifically, we're sitting at this pivotal moment where this industry is literally splitting in two. And the gap is going to continue to get bigger and bigger over time. For some, it may sound scary. For others, and I hope all of us here, it's a huge opportunity. Like, it's a huge, huge opportunity to go from a legacy business model to a new model because the highest margin service call is the one that you do not roll a truck roll for. That's the highest margin. You can only roll so many truck rolls. You can only go to so many buildings at a time. But you could run multiple things from a command center for multiple clients if set up right, if normalized, if contextualized. You can use actual agents to do this. And we believe that this isn't something that is coming. We think that we're there, like the train has already left. And we are doing, like we've been doing this for 8+ years now, like the entirety of the business model for KODE is to build what we believe the industry becomes next. And so far, and I say this in the most humble possible way I can say this, what we've called out is what has happened. It's not even hard, like we're not smart. We're just looking and seeing what the rest of the world is doing, and we're saying this is where the built environment will go. It has to go there. There's no other way around it, because everybody else is going there. A lot of you guys, probably all of you guys are familiar with Cursor and everything that's happening in and around the software development world. This is KODE. This is what we're going to do. We're literally going to do what Cursor did for software developers for the built environment. And we would love to have you guys on board with us. And the reason why is because this is the largest operating environment that humanity has ever known. It's not cars, it's not healthcare, it's not banking, it's not anything. It's the built environment. So the opportunity is enormous for all of us to live within it and do super well. But we have to figure out, are we going to jump on board with this idea that the built environment is actually intelligent now? But we have to tie the threads. It's up to us. It won't be the owners. It won't be the operators. It will be you guys that are the backbone of this space and of this industry. And with that, I'll give you just a quick glimpse at what I'm talking about and how we as a company are structured and what it is that we are building versus what we've seen in this space, which you guys know better than I do, okay? It's having the full stack operating layer. It's having all of the different data sets within the built environment, because you can't make a building better unless you can account for the entire data stack and all the systems within it. It's not happening. You're gonna make one thing better and you're gonna cause 20 other issues. So you have to be able to plug the entire data stack in one place, contextualize, normalize it, and then work on this AI operating layer that allows you to now turn on agents and figure out how they operate and learn about the building and let software tell you more about the building and let you do what you do best. Dictate it to go where you need it to go, because you guys know buildings. Nobody knows buildings better than you guys, period, end of story. But you need the tools to allow you to do these things. And I'll sum it up by saying that working with KODE Labs, it's not just the tech, it's the experience end to end. It is the access to the people that are a part of this company. It's your ability to reach out to any one person in the entire company and get a response super fast and make the process a seamless process, whether you're working with us or you're working with a partner, Cochrane, who we're super aligned with philosophically on both where the industry is going and the experience we want to provide to the people, companies we work with. Last but not least, because of all of this, we genuinely believe, and yes, call me ignorant, that this space needs KODE. But it's not just KODE. It needs you in it with us to really flip this thing completely on its head and provide an experience for everybody in the built environment that we've all been talking, dreaming about, but haven't really hit the nail on. Appreciate the time and look forward to chatting with you guys. We'll be right back there.
That was inspiring. I'm telling, and you know, I'm going to throw one more thing on Edi's, on what he talked about, which is cybersecurity, because, you know, Jim showed earlier Shodan and how remote access to buildings has got to change, folks. It's a major cybersecurity issue. And certainly what we prescribe at Cochrane, one of the best methodologies is to only give remote access to like a digital twin on a cloud. And for most IT departments, that's a much better way than putting it on-prem and then giving remote access to networks. So not only is this like to change your business for the future, but also it's to fix cybersecurity issues, folks, because we can't continue to give access to those networks. We have to move these layers that have remote access up to a cloud. It's imperative for cybersecurity. And what Eddie said is so true, and I hope you all take it to heart. It was very inspirational. So thank you, Eddie. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.